Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle then for the Championship predictions, week 9. The Championship's going quick, isn't it? What are we on our second international break after this? Yeah. Last midweek, a lot of draws. The three horsemen are back to chat Championship football about not just our own teams. We're going to discuss everybody else's teams with how we all got on this week. And, well, I think 2 of us shot blanks this week. The other one, he was fit and firing, I'm telling you. No pun intended. Well, I wonder who'll be late this week. Well, the boys are in the backstage at the minute, so none of them are late. Well, Rich got bang on 6 o'clock. Steve were in and out. And yeah, he had a few voice problems, which, we won't really hear what he's got to say regarding his scores and that on the door. So that's a fantastic thing of it. Dawn, how are we? Guys, always hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you know and you haven't subscribed already. Please get down and do so. Get involved. If you're watching this on playback, let me know your team you support and how you think your teams are going to get on this weekend and what your predictions are for the other games as the Championship now hots up ahead of the second international break. So let's get the boys in, Rich and Steve. Boys, how are we?
Good evening, everybody. I'm good.
Good.
Can't complain, I guess.
No, I bet you can't complain,
I'll
Steve.
I'll try.
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit.
As Rich said to us earlier on, we love a moan.
Oh, that bloody WhatsApp group. All you do is you lot moan. Right.
Well,
especially after the other night. I didn't listen to all the voice notes and all the messages, obviously, because I was a bit sort of moaning myself.
You're all right, Rich, innit? If your club's not done exactly what Leicester's done in the past couple of years with back-to-back Premier League relegations, then it's a big fall off for Leicester. Let's just put it that way. We've had 10 years of the ups, the good, the bad, and the ugly, should we call it, Leicester City, and we're at the ugly stage of how Leicester are at the minute as a football club. But yeah, welcome to the Championship prediction, boys. We are back for another one then, week 9 of the Championship predictions. Before we start, should we have a little drum roll, shall we? And before Steve runs out the scores.
Yeah, I think me and you know what we got to do.
So there was 2 really embarrassing performances this week, and we won't talk about Leicester in it. We'll talk about these 2 here. Jack and Rich both got 0 this week, drawing a blank.
Well, at least they're in good company.
That's true. But look, I got shit on last week before, the week before, sorry, and the week before that for not getting any. So take your dues as you are. And this guy here has closed the gap on Richard with 2 correct answers. So
was it actually your scores, Steve, that you put in this week?
Yes.
Because it wasn't last week, was it, Jack?
No.
No, these ones were mine. I made the joke saying it was Dinesh.
Okay.
This time it was me. I got the Blackburn and Swansea game correct with a 2-1 win for Swansea, and the Derby Charlton game with a 1-1 draw. Didn't quite get the 3-3 draw with Hull and Preston, which was a bit annoying because
you were close though.
Exactly. I was thinking, here we go.
We did laugh at you. We laughed at you when you said there's going to be goals, and there was goals.
There was. And, for us, we didn't expect a lot of draws in midweek, did we, to be fair? Both of our sides drawn this week again.
Was there 6, Jack? Was there 6 draws this week?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5-6. Yesterday was the only draws
I
yesterday.
think I see a stat,
Eight
Steve,
draws.
about...
Eight draws in
I
the
see a
week.
stat, Steve, about... Was there no wins for the home teams on Tuesday night?
Correct. Yeah, no wins at all. Yeah, that was
Wow.
yeah, crazy really, because there was only 2 winners for the away teams on Tuesday night, and that was Swansea and Southampton. The rest were all draws. So
And then Wednesday
bit of a weird week when it came to football. You guys came out with a draw. We came out with a terrible draw. Birmingham rescued it late against Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then look, Wednesday night we saw a certain rival of yours, Rich, come under more pressure before the week.
They're not doing very well at home, are they?
No. And also the best striker of football I've seen so far this season in Sheffield United versus Southampton, where Chris Wilder smacked it.
Oh, I thought you were on about Ross Stewart. I thought you were on about Ross Stewart's finish.
No, Wilder hit it much better than Ross Stewart.
I was listening to his interview today, and he said it's about like one of them where you're just kicking it and you don't really mean it, and he's twatted one of his own fans.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
But apparently the referee in that game, I can't remember what his name was, he has had an absolute stinker, because I've seen the disallowed Sheffield United goal, which should have been a goal. I've seen there's a foul on Ogbene on the edge of the box that he doesn't give. And there's one, I don't know if you've seen it, Steve, when he's counting out the 10 steps for the free kick for the wall, and he only does 8.
Yeah, he's not a good referee, is he?
I think he's doing Sheffield Wednesday Coventry this weekend, that ref.
Oh, God.
So
yeah, 8 draws this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. I mean, who'd have expected that, to be fair? And no home team even winning a game. Norwich have really struggled again. What's that, their 5th straight home defeat?
Not it's the first time ever in their history, Jack.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the sad thing is we're playing them and we're the home team on Sunday, and they're actually not too bad away from home because they've got all their points from away games. So I'm hoping it doesn't continue on Sunday.
Well, we're going to get to Ipswich, which is the very last game of the week 9. But boys, let's discuss midweek then, week 8. Birmingham 2-2 with Sheffield Wednesday.
Is he under pressure? Is he under pressure, the manager at Birmingham now?
I'd say so.
He celebrated by running down the touchline, Jose Mourinho-like, and joining in the celebrations.
Didn't he hunt one of their players?
Yeah, 90 plus 9, wasn't it?
Well, they're supposed to be only added on 8 minutes at Birmingham, but all of a sudden they started getting into Fergie time a bit. So
we call it Ipswich Town in this Ipswich time in this league, don't we, Jack?
Well, it is when Ipswich are playing, yeah, but when Birmingham are playing, we might as well call it Birmingham time or Brummy time.
Yeah, but they were all over Sheffield Wednesday. To be fair, I think it definitely favoured Sheffield Wednesday for sure, because I think Birmingham could have snatched that. But look, any game coming away with a last minute winner, a last minute draw, is going to look like a win for the fans, I guess. Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday will be sort of kicking themselves that they didn't come away with all 3 points there, especially because of how they are at the moment, and the chances are they'll probably go into administration at some point this season. So
I think they could have a points deduction, Steve, coming on. I was reading today.
Yeah, so 6. As many points on the board that they can get as possible.
Well, he wants £70 million for the club.
The price has gone down, though, Jack. The price has gone down.
Texter's told him to piss off, basically. He's like, I'm not paying all that money for you because it's not worth what you think it is. And Sheffield Wednesday fans say the same. If you look at Sheffield Wednesday at the minute, they say £40 million is probably the realistic asking price. If he's bloody asking for 70 million. The thing is, though, Rich, you look at Sheffield Wednesday, it's not him who has to suffer, Chanzeri. These points deduction, that ain't going to suffer him or anything like that. It does the fans, the club, the players. That's who suffer from these scenarios, because he clearly ain't bothered about what happens here.
Yeah, look, that's my thoughts exactly, that he's running them into the ground, isn't he? We've looked, all clubs have had probably ownership issues as you go, but with him and also it's always the fans that suffer, the players. Look, there's people there, like we said last week, I think, about obviously the players haven't been paid on time. I'm not sure about the staff. Have they been paid? Players are in a good position probably anyway, like financially, but when you've got like normal staff who've got mortgages, everything to pay. I just find it really sad. I find it really sad, and they're the ones who suffered, and who knows where it ends. But it looks as though at the minute he's got no sort of, he doesn't really want to sell up, does he, Jack, at the minute? And I don't really know what his end goal is, because he's not wanted. He's not wanted there. It's clear, you know. And when you see players coming out like Barry Bannon and saying, look, he spoke to him, but he doesn't really speak to him anymore because you don't get any news. So it only ends in relegation. We all know that they're going to be heading down, because obviously, and they're doing quite well on the pitch. When you think on the pitch,
they're giving everything.
They're giving a good account of themselves, but it's all really counts for nothing at the end of the day.
Swansea went to Blackburn and won. It did stay nice and dry on Tuesday night at Ewood Park.
Well, I see Vladimir Ismail crying again. They should have. It was a penalty. I mean, Todd Cantwell gets taken down. I think it's right near the end of the game. He gets his leg taken away from it. It probably is a penalty, but it's not given. You can't all have soft penalties awarded, can you, Jack? I know, you know.
No, that's it. You know, Bristol City won, Ipswich won. Ipswich getting away with it again. Was it a penalty? Is it a penalty? Obviously, the footage from obviously what you would have seen from the away end would have probably not seen what happened behind.
Yeah.
But footage from behind, it looks very much like he didn't even touch him at all.
Yeah, so where we were was literally, he was like right in front of us. And I think it's one of them ones where it's played through by Jack Clark, and Akpom, he sort of runs across the defender. And I don't think the defender intentionally fouls him. I say that. I try and be as objective as I can. I know sometimes you do have your blue tinted glasses on, but I think it is probably a foul. It's one of those ones where he's run across him and he's just clipped his heels when he's run across him. So we could all say anywhere else on the pitch, that is probably a foul. So,
yeah.
And it was a bit telling that their manager, obviously, the fullback had already been booked. He was on a yellow card, and then literally 2 minutes later, he took him off. It's not a second yellow for me. It wouldn't be a second yellow. That would have been really harsh. And did we get away with one in the game? Because we didn't play really well. Possibly, you know, I would have probably took a draw, Jack. There going down there, because they're well organised. I wouldn't say are they going to be in the playoffs come the end of the season? Possibly. I think at the minute, anybody could stake a claim for that within probably about the top 15 or 16 clubs, because the points gap is so close. You win 2 or 3 games, you jump up. You lose 2 or 3, and you're probably going to slide down. So in the end, performance-wise wasn't very good. Results-wise, we'd take that, and that's 2 wins and a draw out the last 3, if we exclude the Blackburn game, which is obviously to be replayed at a later date. And I see that they put on Sky Sports News, Jack, that Ipswich are not going to give Blackburn a goal.
Very sportsmanship, isn't it, Rich? Very rich coming from you lot. It comes in your name, doesn't it? Very rich.
I wouldn't need to worry about gifting Blackburn a goal, because we will probably do it ourselves anyway. Right. A set piece after about 10 minutes. So we'll probably give them a goal start anyway.
Fair enough. Steve, Hull 2, Preston 2, Ollie McBurney within the goals again. I think Ryan Giles has got another assist to his name. Them two seem to be linking up quite well for Hull this season. But Preston, Thierry Small scored an absolute cracker against Hull.
Yeah, well, just on Ollie McBurney, that's his 6th goal of the season, 3 assists now. He's only started 7 games, 8 matches in total. Obviously, you know, a fantastic free signing, really. We were sort of singing his praises earlier on this week, and, you know, fair play to him again. He's as a free transfer. They've done really well, you know, because he's hit the ground running at Hull, and I had them to go down, but as long as they keep him fit, I think he'll do, you know, bits again this season. Decent goal by Small. I mean, you know, 2-0 down to Preston at home in Hull. Oh, I mean, I wouldn't want to be in Hull at the best of times, let alone 2-0 down at the stadium. But they battled back, and, you know, fair play to them. It's Hull's turn for me to shit on, and you know, they did all right. But yeah, overall, it was a decent game. I had it down as a sort of 3-3. Wasn't close when they went 2-0 up. I thought, okay, 2-0. I thought, you know, we'll see some more attacking here. But look, you know, 2-2, decent result for both of them. You know, keeps Preston high up the table, and you know, Hull need those points, and they've managed to put more on the board. So fair play.
Leicester won, Wrexham won. Fucking hell. The final third for Leicester again really summed it up this season with the chances that we create, even on target, to be fair. Jordan James did get his first Leicester City goal. It's fantastic to see. Great link-up play with Patson Daka. Good assist by him. But Steve, second half, shocking. Absolute shock. Didn't even lay a glove on them. You know, they make the substitutions. We make the wrong tactical decisions in the second half. We hold out for a 1-0 win. We don't look like scoring another goal. We just think we'll just shut up shop, just keep passing it around the back and that. Didn't really look like we was really interested in getting any more goals, which frustrates the manager so much after the game. But yeah, Wrexham, sorry. Got the goal. Nathan Broadhead. What the fuck is Vestergaard doing, Steve? Talk to me about that one.
Yeah, I think he was unfortunate that, you know, I said it on a couple of other shows that Vestergaard is not at his best when he's running back to goal. And when you put the ball into the channel where the fullback should be, you know, that's going to happen because he's going to get beaten to the ball because he's not the fastest player in the world. And he looks like he got sort of shouldered off the ball. Wasn't a foul, just, you know, it wasn't at all. And for a defender that tall to be pushed off the ball so easily is not great. I sort of hold a bit more criticism for the fact that Oliver Skipp let his man. Didn't track his man at all, and that's where the goal came from. But overall, first half I think was pretty good. Second half was atrocious. But that's the story of the season so far. We've not put in a full 90-minute performance yet, and the manager coming out saying that the players looked arrogant. Nail on the head. You know, they thought they were going to walk away with that game when actually, you know, they were embarrassed. And yeah, booze at full time again for the players. I don't think it's for the manager; it's for the players.
Yeah.
On to Saturday, Swansea will be a nice game. But look, you know, there's no easy games in this league, as we all know. Anyone can beat anybody when they want to, and it just goes that if you're not at your best, you're going to get punished, and we were.
Yeah, Rich. Leicester needed that second goal and didn't go for the killer, did they? They decided that, you know what, this is easy, this passing around Wrexham. But you don't underestimate it. Wrexham were never out that game. They gave everything for 90 minutes, I'd say. I mean, we could have been 1-0 down before we'd even scored our first goal with Hamza Chowdhury's mistake. But Nathan Broadhead did score, and then Christensen went and did the same thing Vestergaard did, and then we could have ended up bloody 2-1 down to Wrexham. And obviously, I think the momentum really switched because when Oliver Skipp came on and we did make the substitutions, they never really influenced the game at all. Skipp gives it away, never tracks his man. Vestergaard's very much under pressure, but yeah, Leicester chased the game when, you know, you sort of chasing the game, don't you, Rich, when you start bringing your strikers on, like Jordan Ayew, Karanzi, you know, you just throw every attacker on the pitch just to get that goal back, Brittany. It was never the case. Wrexham will be more happier with the point. I think that will go in their documentary, to be fair, wouldn't it? Called Netflix. But yeah, what's your thoughts on Leicester dropping points again and having that fourth consecutive draw on the bounce?
Oh, I see Wrexham are the only team in the league, Jack, who've scored in every game. So no surprise they scored. Look, when you're 1-0 up at home, you have to go and kill the game. You know, I don't think, unless you've got a really, really tight defence, you know, that's a real dangerous game trying to hold out for that 1-0. It only takes one little mistake. I think that's Broadhead's, obviously, his first goal in the league since he left us and went to Wrexham. Yeah, look, it's a disappointing game result for you because you're at home, you're leading, you expect to probably go on and win that game. On the flip side, like we always say, it is another point on the board. I know you're disappointed that you didn't win, but you didn't lose. But you have to turn these draws into wins. But then there's a lot of teams in this league over the last, I think, 6 draws from Saturday's game, Jack, 8 draws in the week. Yeah. So, you know, it is so tight. And it's like Steve says, if you're not at your best, you can get rolled over by, it doesn't matter who you're playing in this division. You know, you've only got to look at Sheffield Wednesday at the minute. We thought they might be the whipping boys, but in the last few games, they've showed that they're really competitive, and I think this is why everybody likes the Championship, because it's such a competitive division, and it's such a hard league to predict. You know, look at me and you. For an example, this week we got 0. You know, it's that hard. I know Steve's sitting there with a lovely little grin on his face, you know, because he's like a Cheshire cat, and he's closing. But I
got the cream.
Where's it? A point behind you? Is he, Steve?
Yeah. I didn't say that, did I? So Jack, you're on 7. I'm on 9, and Rich is on 10. So getting closer.
It's a point.
It's like the division. You see Borough on 18, and then I think Cov on 16, and then there's quite a few teams 14 and 13 points, and we're on 10.
Tight down to 12.
Yeah, it is so tight. I think it might be this way all season, Jack.
Yeah.
At the minute, I don't really see an outstanding team. And if you're probably going to push me on who I think's probably looked the best so far, I know Borough top. You'd have to say Coventry.
Yeah.
The amount of goals that they're scoring, they're free scoring, and they won 4-0 last night. Yeah. And I think they go to Sheffield Wednesday on Saturday, and there's another game there. I think they should get the 3 points, but you can't really sit here with any real confidence.
And so Sheffield Wednesday's going to get turned over. Yeah,
because you don't know what's going to happen. But as far as you're going, look, you need a win. You need a win probably the next game, because your fans are you're getting a little bit
frustrated.
I was just going to say frustration, and it does build. Whereas it's the same with us. You know, we probably thought that we're going to have a little bit of a better start than we have, and it's a massive game for us Sunday. You know, local derbies are always big anyway.
Yeah,
I really think. I know we've got the run where we haven't beaten them in it's the last 14 games we've played them. You know, but it's where we are in the table as well, because if we can get that win on Sunday, you've got that monkey off your back. Your fans have got the bragging rights, but then you've got that little bit of. I think McKenna, at the minute, if we didn't get a result on Sunday, I think the pressure would be turned up a little bit on him. I'm not saying by any stretch of imagination he would get sacked or he would, but I think he'd be under more pressure, because it's like Struber said the other night. I was reading his interview, the Bristol City manager. He's a 200 million squad, he called us. You know, that's the pressure that the teams that have got the parachute money, there is more expectation to deliver. And if you look at the top 5 or 6 at the minute, you know, where are Leicester sitting in the table now, Jack?
6.
There you go. So you're the only team at the minute. You know, there's 5 other teams there without any parachute money. We've got the advantage, and we have to take advantage of it through the season.
Yeah, agreed. Stoke and Middlesbrough shared the spoils in a 0-0 draw. Some say Middlesbrough could have had a penalty. Derby and Charlton 1-1. Sheffield United 1, Southampton 2. Ross Stewart with 2 goals. Chris Wilder knocking a fan out.
Did you see second goal? Did you see second goal, Ross Stewart's, Jack?
Great goal.
Yeah, fantastic goal.
Great goal. First win for Southampton on a Tuesday night. Where do they head this weekend? Derby away. And then we've got Millwall 0, Coventry 4. I mean, Coventry are on a real boost, aren't they, this season so far? The battered Millwall, really, if you look at the chances that they had. Very clinical, a real resounding performance by them. Frank Lampard's got them playing some decent stuff. West Brom picked for 1-0 win in Norwich. I think that was always going to be a 1-goal game between the two. Norwich are not really. They did have chances, though, late on, Rich. The goalkeeper at West Brom made some fantastic saves. They probably should have scored. I was hoping they would score, because I needed them to get 1-1 and at least get a point on the table this week. But, yeah, where's it all going wrong, Rich, for Norwich at home?
Well, look, first time I think in their history that they've lost 5 games on the spin. I see it was their lowest crowd at home, Jack, for 14 years.
Yeah.
And, look, Manning isn't flavour of the month at the minute. You know, he's obviously under pressure. I don't think that's a secret. And I mean, if he loses the derby on Sunday, I think he is under massive pressure there, you know, with how they're going at home. obviously with that run they've had the last 16 years that we haven't beaten them, if that all disappears, that's all that their fans are clinging on to at the minute. That they haven't, that they've got bragging rights. But even I've seen a lot of them, they're not confident going into the derby. It's a weird one because a lot of our fans are not confident because the record that we've got over the past few years, and they're not very confident because of obviously the run that they're on at the minute. And a lot of their fans are saying they'd take a draw now, which we obviously hope it won't. But look, I don't know what's really going wrong at Norwich. I've not really seen much of them, but I didn't really expect them to be lose every home game, and then they've got 8 points, Jack, and they've got them away from home. That's probably the thing at the minute that they're clinging on to a little bit for Sunday, that they actually do perform.
Turn into prime Barcelona every time.
Yeah, but they perform a little bit better on the road, and maybe you're away from home. You know, you've not got that home crowd. If you're not going through a great run, you make a mistake, you might be a little bit on edge. Then the crowd get on your back. So I don't think that helps. You know, I don't think that helps. So if they're playing away, I know a derby game brings its own pressure anyway, but there's probably a little bit less expectation on them. You know, that could work. I'm hoping it doesn't, but that could actually work in their favour on Sunday.
Yeah, agreed. QPR 0, Oxford 0. Good point for Oxford United, that one. I know it caused a bit of a melee, didn't it, on the touchline between
There's nothing going on. There's nothing going on here, was it?
Bit of a scuffle, yeah. You know how it is. Bit of handbags. You know, things get said and things get a bit pushy. Portsmouth 2, Watford 2. Watford fans are running out of patience with this manager. They're sitting there saying, of the chant of you getting sacked in the morning. I think he hasn't got a clue, has he? You know, he hasn't clearly got the backing of the Watford fans at all, this manager at all. And it'll be a time teller if they don't win this weekend. Then could they sort of want to make change again in the international break where they have got time to do it? But they just can't keep swapping and changing, can they, Steve? Watford, it's always a sort of sentiment with Watford that they sack the managers after a short period of time because they're probably not giving their managers enough time, to be fair, to really turn things over.
Well, they haven't really ever. You know, that's the way they do things there. Is if they're not in a good position after 10 to 15 games, they think that the stats back them up that if they sack the manager, that they'll get a bounce, and that's where, you know, their season sort of kicks on. Usually it happens where, you know, the second manager sort of 3 quarters into the season, and then the new guy comes in and picks up 4 or 5 wins. They either get, you know, into the playoffs or safe from relegation. Look, you can't, as we know ourselves, you can't build a squad or a mentality around a squad if you keep changing the managers, because, you know, we had it with Enzo when he left and Cooper came.
Did you see, Steve, on Watford, did you see that he made a sub after 32 minutes? He took one of the strikers off. Is it Iran Kunda? He took him off and he did not look happy.
Good, though. I think, you know, honestly,
straight down the tunnel he went.
I think there should be more managers that do that sort of stuff. You know, we saw with Enzo when he took off a couple of players in the first half a couple of weeks ago. Like, if they're not playing well, take them off. I don't care, you know, because then it saves them getting stick from the fans. You know, if like Oliver Skip came on for us on Tuesday night, right? If it had hooked him after 5 minutes, I think the fans would have gone, yeah, fair enough, he was terrible. You know, so if you're not performing, then I think you should be pulled off. That sounds weird. I don't mean it like that.
But we did see in the video, didn't we? We were talking about on Tuesday when he was in the dressing room after, I think it was the weekend's game, wasn't it? And the players, it doesn't look a happy camp, does it? Let's be honest.
Interested. Like, they don't want to play for him, I don't think, either. And when that happens, you there's only one way out for you, mate, and that's out the exit door. Boys, let's get on to week 9 then. Everyone get the predictions in for this one. Where do we start? We're going to start with the Friday night football at the racecourse. Wrexham versus Birmingham. Last time these two played each other at the racecourse was League One. It was a 1-1 draw last time these two faced each other. Wrexham are on a bit of a bounce at the minute. Birmingham are really struggling to find form. They've not won their last 3 away games, Birmingham. Leicester, Coventry, and Stoke away. How do they sort of test themselves in this one, Steve? Birmingham, do they go there and get the points, or do you think it's going to be another tricky away day for the Blues?
Well, Hollywood Derby, you know, as we all know, that famous for different things. I've gone for a 1-1 draw for this one.
Okay.
Mainly because, the draw for Wrexham on Tuesday will give them massive confidence. The
They did
last
right.
draw for Birmingham will give them massive confidence. I think Birmingham need the result more than Wrexham, in all honesty. But I think they'll cancel each other out. And just before an international break, I actually don't think there's going to be many big results this week. So I've gone for a 1-1 draw. This is mine as well. It's not the nephews. I've made these choices tonight. So if it all goes tits up, it's my fault.
Fair enough. Damari Gray's created the most big chances for Birmingham this season. Ryan Hardy's had the most shots on target per match for Birmingham. We're 1.7. Wrexham are scoring goals. It's 11th versus 15th. Birmingham on 11. Wrexham on 9. So only 2 points. Really split these two. Rich going into this one. But who's going to win the Hollywood derby?
I think this is going to be a good game on Friday night on the telly. Obviously, I think it was always going to be a TV game anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wrexham v Birmingham with who they've got involved. Like I said earlier, I think Chris Davis, I'm not sure if it's fair. I think he's under a little bit of pressure. That sounds a little bit strange when they're sitting 11th, sitting 11th on 11 points, and they're what, 2 points off third place, or 3 points off third place. So I think that's a little bit weird. But it's the expectations, boys, that they've got now, and I'm not saying that's obviously a lot of that comes from fans as well. But I think Tom Brady and Wagner, is it the chairman? They've obviously got big ambitions. They want to build this super stadium in Birmingham. They want to get to the Premier League. So they're going to want to be up in the upper reaches of the table up to January. Wrexham, I think they're doing all right. I think they're going to be in and around mid-table, Jack. I think they'll beat some teams, and then they'll probably lose to some teams where they probably expect to beat them. But I tend to agree with Steve here. I think they're probably going to cancel each other out. Birmingham don't score a great deal of goals. Wrexham are always good for a goal. So I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to go with Steve.
Right. I reckon this one, I think they'll cancel each other out, to be fair. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go with you boys, 1-1.
Oh, I see. Don't let us get too far ahead. Cancel international breaks coming up, so you got to make sure you're still within touching distance.
Someone who's got bloody more points than me, I had to make sure I get some points. Jesus.
Well, look,
outrageous.
Come on. From last Saturday, Jack, I mean, if you'd have gone for about 2 or 3 games 1-1, you could have done every game a draw. And
do you know what? Last weekend, I had a couple of draws that I'd won on dinner last week. And I thought, do I change it a bit of midweek? Obviously, changed it a couple of times. And then, obviously, it slapped me straight in the face. You
just got to go with what you feel. Don't go changing it just because me and
that's
Steve
it. Right.
Higher than you in the league.
Fair enough. Right. Blackburn taking on Stoke City. Let me get this one up. I'll give you a few stats out of this one, actually. Where are we going? So Blackburn have conceded the most penalties this season. Todd Cantwell is the ideal player for them. Stoke have won their previous 2 matches against Blackburn Rovers. Sorba Thomas is ranked the first in big chances for Stoke this season with 8. Last time these two played each other at Ewood Park, Stoke won 2-0. How do you think this one ends up, Rich?
Well, Blackburn third bottom, and they 6 points. Still not won at home. Stoke sitting third, and I think if you're a Stoke fan, if you want to be up the top and challenging this season, these are the games you're going to have to go and win. I think to make that difference. I don't think there's going to be a lot in the game. I think Blackburn are not that bad from what I see when they played against us, and I know the conditions were pretty terrible. They're a little bit unlucky in the week. They should have had a penalty right at the end on Todd Cantwell, but because he used to play for Norwich, that doesn't really count. So I'm glad they didn't give a penalty to him, the little rat. But I am going to go for. I think the Potters will get the spoils, and I think it's going to be I'll go 2-1 Stoke.
2-1 Stoke. Steve.
Right. Wow. I don't want to sound like I'm copying you, Rich, so I'm going to change it. I've gone 2-0 Stoke for this one. I did say 2-1 originally, but no, I've gone 2-0. look, but Blackburn are doing a really poor. They've got a game in hand, luckily, but I don't think they'll win that now, to be honest. And look, Rich hates Blackburn. I don't like Stoke, so it's sort of like a derby for us in that sense.
I had nothing against Blackburn until their fans started moaning.
But I think Stoke there'll be too much for Blackburn. I'm worried about. Well, I'm not worried. Let's be honest. Nobody's worried about a different team, but their manager is under a lot of pressure. And at this point they're Derby B because they signed a few Derby players, didn't they, this summer? So yeah, I think it'll be a 2-0 Stoke win. I think Blackburn are going to struggle again.
Yeah, I don't see Blackburn's win at home coming anytime soon. I just don't think they've been good enough. Yes, they're scoring the odd goal. Blackburn have been a side this season where when I say they're going to score, they don't. And when I say they're not going to score, they do. So I was sort of thinking, where do I put my head with this one? I think Stoke have enough to really go and beat Blackburn this weekend at Ewood Park. So I'm going to go 2-0 Stoke.
Also, I just want to clarify what I meant by they signed a few. No, Derby signed a few Blackburn players. It was the other way around.
Well,
you say 2-0 Stoke, Jack?
2-0 Stoke, yeah.
Oh, copy me again. God, mate, come on.
All right. That phone call was wonders, I'm telling you. We went over this, remember? Right, we'll go to the MKM. Hull versus Sheffield United, the Yorkshire derby. This one's an interesting one, to be fair. Rich, Ollie McBurney against his former club. This one could be very much an interesting one. Hull haven't kept a clean sheet in 8 games. Gus Harmer has been the most creative player for Sheffield United this season. They're going to be hurting after that defeat to Southampton. But last time Sheffield United did visit Hull City away, they won 2-0 in their last 2 visits against Hull at the MKM. So how do you think this one goes? Hull, Sheffield United.
Yeah, I was reading today about Chris Wilder saying McBurney should really be wearing a red and white shirt because they needed a number. No, they needed a number 9 in the summer because obviously Kiefer Moore left, and obviously he played for Sheffield United before, hadn't he, McBurney? He'd done really well for him, so yeah. He's had a very good start, Jack. He's got 2 goals in the week. They score a lot of goals, don't they? Hull scored 13, but they've conceded 16, so I think there might be some goals in this game. Sheffield United, by all accounts, didn't play that badly the other night against Southampton. They were leading, and then obviously Stewart got 2 goals. One of them a worldie, and then they had a goal disallowed, which I think was a bit harsh. Chris Wilder can pick a pass out, so I think he might play centre midfield. Good at pinging them balls into the crowd, isn't he? I'm going to go for a Blades win here. I think they've got. I've said before, I think they've got some good players, and I don't think they really should be. They've scored 3 goals, Jack, in 8 games. I mean, for the players they've got,
it's embarrassing.
That is literally embarrassing. But I'm going to go for a Sheffield United win, and I think I'm going to go 3-1 to Sheffield United. I think they're going to find their scoring boots.
Oh, Steve.
Interesting. 3-1. Ooh, okay. That's like me saying 3-0 last week. The reaction was like, oh, that's a bold one, Rich. I've gone for a draw. I've gone for 1-1. I think Sheffield United they'll be annoyed that they didn't get that result against Southampton because I think the goal was a bit weak to
It's one of them ones, Steve, on the goalkeeper. You see it every time.
Yeah.
They put a ball under the crossbar, and I mean, you only have to literally breathe on the goalkeeper, and they give a free kick. And half the time, there's no contact.
No, exactly. Yeah. So I think they'll be really frustrated and a bit pissed off of that. But I think, Hull are, as we said, they're a high-scoring team, and Bernie's in form. So I think they'll cancel each other out. But it'll be a good game. I think this might be the game of the week so far. So I've gone for 1-1.
Right, I'm going both teams to score. Hull 1, Sheffield United 2.
Oh, I was going to say, Jack, don't you dare say 1-1.
No, 2-1. 2-1 Sheffield United. The next one, boys, we're actually going to head to Hillsborough. A lot happening at Sheffield Wednesday, especially with bloody ownership anyway. But they are making themselves good merits on the football pitch. A good point against Birmingham. Could have been all three if it wasn't for Damari Gray. But yeah, they take on informed Coventry, who are very much unbeaten going into this one. Could it be a banana skin game for Cov? I know they're sort of looking at this game saying it probably could be, but Coventry have kept the most clean sheets in the league. Haji Wright has scored 7 goals this season. They've scored 10 in the last 5. Coventry are bouncing in second place. Barry Bannon, though, could he have something to say in this game because he's their main threat, Sheffield Wednesday, this season, and he's the man who keeps creating everything for them, and it seems to be paying off. How do you think this one goes? Second place Coventry going to 23rd place Sheffield Wednesday. Steve?
I feel for Sheffield Wednesday in this one, to be honest. Look, Coventry, plus 15 goal difference after 8 games is crazy. To score 22 goals in that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that come sort of the end of November, they'll be running away with this league. I think they'll be on sort of 30-odd points by then quite easily. So I've gone for a 3-1 Coventry win against Sheffield Wednesday. Look, they've picked up a couple of draws, which have been decent, but overall they leak goals. They've conceded 15 so far this season. I just think Coventry are going to steamroll. And as a Leicester fan, I don't like to admit it, but I think they might be favourites for the league come the end of this year. Quite easily.
I forget you said that. Moving on, Rich.
I'm looking at Cov's next 4 fixtures here, Steve. So you've got Sheffield Wednesday away. Then after the break, they've got Blackburn at home, Portsmouth away, Watford at home. So I think there's some points there for Cov to really.
They're all winnable games from, isn't there?
Yeah, football doesn't work out like that, though, does it? I think we all look at our fixtures and think we can beat that team, we can beat that team. Yeah, and I think it doesn't work out. So you've got to use the old boring phrase, take the next game as it comes. I can't see anything other than a Coventry win. They're free scoring. Haji Wright, another 2 goals. Jack, he's looking on fire. So I'm going to go 0-3 to Coventry.
I tell you what, I'm going to back you. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Coventry 3. I think Coventry get another clean sheet to add to the tally. I think Haji Wright's going to score again in this game. I just think it's going to be one of them with bloody Sheffield Wednesday fans having the bloody protests and that again, aren't they, against their owner and that. And obviously with the players not being paid again, it's just going to be one thing after another come the weekend for them. And I feel really bad for Sheffield Wednesday fans in the situation that they're in. And we obviously sympathise with them as Championship fans and obviously as club fans anyway. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a great afternoon for them, to be fair. 3-0 Cov. Coventry bottle things. Maybe at Wembley. I don't know about it this minute in time, but we'll see. Rich, Bristol City taking on Queen's Park Rangers. Bristol City are scoring quite well, aren't they, at the minute? QPR haven't lost in their last 5 games. But Richie Kone seems to be doing well for QPR, and Mehmeti seems to be the main man for Bristol City. Bristol City sit 5th and QPR sit 10th, only a point apart. How do you think this one goes at Ashton Gate?
I don't think QPR have lost since that 7-1, have they, Jack?
No.
That's kicked them right into gear. And look, it's another one of those cornflake games, I think. It's very close. I'm going to go for, from what I see the other night, I thought Bristol City were decent without being spectacular. We managed to keep Mehmeti pretty quiet. Scott Twine, we didn't give away no free kicks, which was quite handy with him because if you give any free kicks away sort of 20, 25 yards out, it normally ends one way. I'm going to go score draw here. I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm also going 1-1.
Oh, yeah. Hat trick. 1-0.
1-0. Lovely stuff. That's how we like to do it. Bristol City 4-1.
Wow.
2-2. Evening, lads. Another woeful performance by my team against West Brom last night. A lot of empty seats. Fans not happy. Manning needs a result Sunday. But for me, first time in a long time, Town big favourites.
Music to my ears. It's interesting what Nigel says here about empty seats. And I see a lot of our fans getting onto Norwich about empty seats. We've had this from them. Like a few years ago when we were struggling, there was a lot of empty seats at our stadium. I think that's a little bit of a point scoring thing, Jack, online. Fans say, oh, look, you can't feel your ground. Oh, you didn't feel your ground. We all know that football goes in cycles. They've had it really good for the last X amount of years. They've had, 3 promotions, I think, to the Premier League. And we're having a decent time at the minute. But I think that's a little bit nonsense when you're talking about. They still had over 24,000, which on a Wednesday night is pretty decent. If that had been a Saturday, you're probably going to be nearly a full house. It's midweek, isn't it? A lot of people might have to work and whatever, but they'll come Sunday. They'll sell out their allocation. They'll make a lot of noise, but hopefully Nigel, and I know Nigel likes me because I talk a bit of sense. Hopefully the Canaries will be going home with their wings well and truly clipped.
I guess it doesn't help then, when you say in a midweek game at home, when, the buses stop at 5 o'clock. So, it is Norwich. They're a bit backwards down there.
Oh.
He's going in there, isn't he?
I tell you what, he's done it to bloody
Stoke.
Who else was
Norwich. There was another team.
There was another team. There was another team last week. We're at Middlesbrough.
Yeah,
Middlesbrough. Yeah.
He said it's not a nice.
I'm making my way around.
Tell you what,
go there on a Friday.
These bloody fans are going to be at your door at some point, carrying you out, my mate. Right, let's go to Pride Park. Derby versus Southampton. Southampton picks up a good win last away game against Sheffield United. Derby sit 20th going into this one. Southampton sit 14th. Saints have scored 5 in the last 5, so have Derby. So both sides are scoring. How do you see this one going, Steve, at Pride Park?
Well, I think Southampton are slowly turning things around, potentially. 3 draws and a win in the last 5 is decent. It's still a decent points per game, I guess, for a team that's, potentially be in the Championship playoff this season. Derby, look, I was in Derby a couple of weeks ago and they didn't sound very happy when I was walking past some of the fans. 2 draws in the last 2 games. I think Southampton nicked this one 2-1. I think it'll be a close game, but a 2-1 win for Southampton.
Well, last time these two played in the Championship at Pride Park was 2011. Derby won, Southampton won. Rich, what do you reckon for this one?
Still not won at home, have they, Derby?
No. Bit like Blackburn.
Look, they're sitting in 20th. If they're going to pull clear of the bottom 3, they're going to start to need to win some home games soon. They've done pretty well away from home. Drew in the week against Charlton when they probably would have expected to beat them, and they didn't. I tend to agree there a little bit with Steve about Southampton. That was a good win in the week. Away at the Blades, because I didn't really fancy him to go there and win, but they're going to look to obviously get another 3 points on the board. If they can get 6 points in a week away from home, from 2 games, that's good. I was going to go 2-1 to Saints, but I don't want to be the same as Steve. I don't want to copy like you do, Jack. So I'm going to go for 3-1 Southampton.
You'll be really annoyed if it's a 2-1 win now.
Right.
It is.
Okay. Here we go.
This is where Jack comes in and says 2-1, Steve.
Can we go to a Where is it? Right. Do you want to know what I'm going for in this one? Derby 0, Southampton 2. I reckon the Saints clean sheet. They'll go marching out of Derby with 3 points. On to the next one. Millwall versus West Brom. It's how bloody Millwall is going to react to that bloody 4-0 thrashing at Coventry, by the way. I mean, a few Millwall mistakes defensively in that game cost them quite dearly. West Brom, though, did pick up a win last night at Carrow Road. Millwall haven't lost to West Brom in their last 8 meetings, winning 2, drawing 6. West Brom are ranked first away from home this season, so they've got a good away record. Both sides have scored four in their last 5 matches. West Brom sit 4th, Millwall sit 12th. Steve, what do you reckon?
I've actually gone for a draw in this game. I think that Millwall they'll need a to come back after that result against Coventry. They're going to want to sort of put it right before the international break. If they get another defeat, it leaves a sort of bitter taste in your mouth for a couple of weeks, doesn't it? So I think they still have aspirations for the playoff this year. West Brom, we saw them against us. They didn't really offer all that much, and they got a decent win against Norwich. But I think they'll cancel each other out. I think 1-1 for me, and they'll both be happy with that. Because I think that'll be the worst game of the season so far. Of the weekend.
Right, I'll tell you what. I'm going for a draw. 1-1.
Oh, you scum.
Sorry, I did throw it down as a draw this one. I was a bit like, do either side win 1-0? Either side, I was thinking, I think it'll be a draw. I think looking at I always look at the stats and that before games, and 6 draws between the last 8 games these two have played. I think it only goes one way, to be fair. So, 1-1 for me, Rich.
And they're not high scoring, are they, either?
No. Let me have a look, actually.
Millwall have scored 6. And West
Brom
have scored 9.
Last time these two played at the Den, it was 1-1. The time before that at the Den was 1-1. And then, obviously, the time before that at the Den was 2-1 to Millwall. But in the games in between them bloody other 3 games, they were all 0-0s.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you two here. I would describe West Brom, what I've seen of them so far, they're a bit of a stodgy team.
Yeah.
They're a bit stodgy. I think they're not going to score a great deal of goals, but then I don't think they're going to give a lot away at the other end. Millwall, they've only scored, 6 already? 6 goals in 8 games. I think, is he injured, Jack? Because I don't think he's scored so far this season, has he? He's not off the mark.
He played against Coventry.
Oh, he did. So, because he missed the Watford game I watched on the other Monday. That was so...
He wrote from...
one assist all season so far is what he's got.
Yeah, so he needs a goal. They're going to want a reaction. You're going to lose some games at home, but I don't think you want to be losing 4-0. I think Coventry, we've already said they're a very good side, but I think I'm going to go with you two, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Wow. Colour me shocked.
Oliver Skip's having one tonight. Well, Mr. Skip, we want to see you putting 100% against Swansea, man. I want to see that first Leicester goal, by the way, mate.
No, we don't. I don't want to see him anywhere near the team against Swansea. Thank you very much.
1-0 baggies. It wouldn't surprise me, to be fair. Either way, right? Should we go to Fratton Park then? Let's go.
Yeah.
Portsmouth, Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough first. They picked up 18 points, so 5 wins, 3 draws. Pompey sitting 17th. 2 wins, 3 draws, 3 defeats, 9 points. Portsmouth. Colby Bishop has been their best player so far. Middlesbrough have kept the most clean sheets in the league with 4 and haven't lost in the last 7 matches going into this one. Rich, how do you think this one goes for the Borough at Fratton Park?
Well, I was looking here. They've 3 draws in the last 4, Jack. And then Pompey they've got 2 draws and 2 losses in their last 4. So during the week, didn't they 2-2 at home to Watford, which they probably would expect to win, because I think I said on here last week when we played them, I don't think they're going to be that great on the road, Portsmouth, so they're going to have to be strong at home, which they were last season. And Borough still unbeaten. Long old bit of travel for them, going down to Portsmouth. I think their last away game, they went to Southampton. So they're putting in the old miles on the road, aren't they? And I think they'll come away happy with this. I think Middlesbrough are going to win. And I think Middlesbrough are going to win 2-0.
Interesting. Steve, what you got?
I've gone 2-0 as well from Middlesbrough. Bloody hell. This is ridiculous now, guys. I think they'll be wanting to pick up a win before the international break. 2 draws. Not ideal, because let's be honest, if they'd converted one of those draws into another win, they'd be sort of 5 points clear at the top. So overall, I think that they're just going to be too strong for them. So yeah, 2-0 win for Middlesbrough.
I'm going Portsmouth 1, Middlesbrough 2. I think both teams score. I'll tell you what, let's go to Deepdale this time. Preston taking on Charlton. Let's have a look at the stats going into this one then. So Preston haven't lost to Charlton in their last 6 meetings, winning 5, drawing 1. Charlton have scored 7 goals in their last 5 matches. 7th versus 9th. 1 point sort of splits to 2. How do you think this one goes, Steve, at Deepdale?
I've gone for a home win. I've gone for a 2-1 win for Preston. They're doing well, unbeaten in the last 4. Okay, they've picked up 3 draws in that time.
Never ever said no.
I think they'll be disappointed to have dropped points against Hull, considering they were 2-0 up and looking like they were cruising. I think they'll just have enough to beat Charlton, who also are doing pretty well. 8 games in, 3 wins, 3 draws, and 2 defeats. Don't score a lot of goals, neither of these teams. That's for sure. But overall, I think Preston will just have enough to win. So
2-1. 2-1. Steve, Rich, go on. What you got?
Well, I think if you're a Charlton and Preston fan, you're pretty happy with your start you've made. You've had We're both sitting on 13 and 12 points, and
Good
they're
start.
pretty strong at home, aren't they, Preston? We both found that out when we went down there. If you're a Charlton fan going down there, go and get your baked potato. Head down to
Mr. Plum.
Spud Bros. I think it'll be a home win here. I don't see it being a classic, let's say. And I'm going to go Preston to win 2-0.
Oh, right. I'm going Preston 2, Charlton 1.
Yeah, he's copying you again, Steve.
No,
This is unbelievable.
Outrageous. How many times has he copied me so far? 1,
A lot.
2, 3, 4, 5 times so far, Jack. That's outrageous.
That's 5 points this weekend, I'm telling you. And then obviously I'll get the extra points. I haven't copied you both, so I bloody need it this weekend. We need Rich to not get anything, Steve, and then we need to get some out of these games.
You don't need to get any points, mate. I need to get points.
It's all right then. See how it is. Right, I thought we were friends, obviously not. We're going to the Liberty. Swansea.com Stadium is what they call it these days, but better known as the Liberty. South Wales, Swansea, Leicester. Is it the Alan Sheehan derby? He's obviously played for Leicester and obviously now manages Swansea. The Jack Army take on the Foxes. Surely it can't go on like this, can it, Steve? For Leicester in another draw.
It can. I've gone 1-1.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I think we get a 5th draw in a row. Look, Swansea are doing okay, I guess. Where are they in the league? They're 8th point. So yeah, they don't score a lot of goals, but they also don't concede a lot of goals either. So, in form, a win and a draw in the last 2. Lost to Birmingham before that, and then a win and draw before that as well. So I just think that they'll go ahead and we'll nick a goal and it'll be a draw. And it depresses me to say it.
You might need a new director of football, John Rudkin's free. Well, Susan Whelan's left the club today. We thought it'd be somebody else, but obviously not. He's staying bloody right where he is. Swansea haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 5. Leicester have won the previous 2 games against Swansea, haven't lost in 6. Leicester unbeaten going into this one for Potnich. He's had a great start for Swansea so far. He seems to be getting them in. 8th versus 6th, a point between the 2. Richard, who have you got for this one?
Are you both making the trip?
I am.
Yeah. 9-hour round trip for me tomorrow.
Well, you'll love that when you come back with a draw.
Saturday.
You'll love that when you come back with a draw, won't you, both of you? Because that's what I'm going for as well. I'm going to sit on the fence again. Look, it's a tough place to go down there.
It is.
and they've started all right. This is another game, boys, that there's so small. There's small margins in these games, and they could go either way. But I still think it's going to be another draw, and you lot on the WhatsApp group Saturday afternoon are going to be moaning again.
Right. I'm sick.
Score you gave it. You said what was the score?
1-0.
1-0. Wow. Oh, Rich, you've copied me 5 times now.
Well,
Jack, what did you go for, Jack?
Well, I'm not going to the drawing board this game. I'm sick of the bloody draws. Every time I seem to go for us to win by 0, it seems to be a draw. So I'm gonna add one on for Swansea here. I'm going 2-1 Leicester. I'm gonna back us to win. I think pretty 4 draws in a row. Well, the draws that we have had, we should have probably been winning the games, to be fair, but we just keep throwing bloody points away like it's money, innit? Well, we've been throwing a bloody money away in the last couple of years with how we've bloody dealt with things. Hello, John Ruckin. So, yeah, 2-1 Leicester for me. I think we need to go into the international break quite steady, to be fair, because if we get another draw, it's going to be even more frustrating for when we come back against Portsmouth. So, yeah, it can't go on like this, can it? But when we talk about it can't go on like this, can it? It can. It's Watford. They take on Oxford. Oxford and Watford and Oxford have not drawn any of their last 3 games against each other. Oxford haven't scored in their last 2 matches. Watford haven't kept a clean sheet in 9 games, by the way. So I think both teams score in this one, and I'm going to go 1-1. Rich, what you got?
Oxford, look, I think they're going to be down there all season scrapping for their lives. It's a decent point for them in a week. Away at Colin's going 3-1. Yeah, it was good point at QPR in a week for Oxford, 0-0. They're competitive, Jack, I'd say. You know, you drew 2-2 with them. They drew obviously 2-2 with Cov. Then they beat Bristol, narrow defeat to Sheffield United. I think Watford, though, home advantage here will probably just about see them over the line. Both teams to score. And I'm going 2-1 to Watford, which Steve will probably copy me.
No, actually. I've gone for 2-2. I've gone for a draw.
For a draw.
Yeah, I've gone for a draw. I think that whilst they're both not really high-scoring teams, or they don't really concede a lot either, to be honest, I think it'll be a decent game, and they'll, Watford are... They're a draw, a win, and 2 defeats in the last 4 for them. A decent draw against Portsmouth, I guess, but the win against Hull was good for them. And Oxford, whilst putting a decent performance against us, it was against 10 men. They're not a high-scoring team, are they? So I think it'll be a bit different. I think a 2-2 draw, and even though I said the whichever game was going to be the best one of the week so far, I take it back. I think this game will be the best game of the weekend.
Yeah, I was in 2 minds with my score, so I'm going to stick with the first one. I went with 1-1. I did fit 1-0 Watford at first, but I looked at it because that was the last result between them at Vicarage Road, so I'm going to stick 1-1. The last game of the weekend then is the Tractor Derby. This one is going to be an interesting one. I think Norwich will really turn up like prime Barcelona. Rich, you lot haven't beat them for a very long time. Is it finally a time for Ipswich to beat their noisy neighbours?
Well, look, we all know what derbies bring. I think they use the phrase, is it form goes out the window? I don't think you can really look at what Norwich have done so far this season, because they've got 8 points, Jack, and they've got them all away from home, which probably points for them, which is a positive in their favour. We've not had the start that we probably thought we would have.
Yeah.
But if we win that game in hand, we're sitting probably 4th or 5th in the division, which shows how tight it is. But this is a chance to lay all them ghosts to rest, over the last 16 years. 14 games we've played them. It's a chance for heroes. Derby Day, Jack, if someone can make themselves a hero,
That's it.
Casey McAteer, not having the best of time so far at Town. If he scores on Sunday in the derby, he'll make himself a hero. So it's a chance for us to stand up. I think it's a game that you have to play with your heads. Don't. Oh, come on. I wonder what odds you'll get. I think it's a game you need to play with your heads, because you need to keep 11 men on the field.
What do you reckon? A red card in this one?
Well, you've got obviously Núñez, signed from Norwich. He started in the week. He won't start the weekend. He'll be on the bench, but he'll be public enemy number one, on Derby Day. He'll come on in the second half. Hopefully, by the time he comes on, we'll be a couple of goals up, and it's not really going to matter. But it's all for me. We normally offer up a chance somewhere. Bristol City in the week. We're playing well, Jack, for 20 minutes. Well in control of that game. We give a set piece away. The first corner they get, they score with a free header. And you think, you cannot be doing that on Sunday. You got Josh Sargent up front, who's their talisman. He's probably, if he can nick a goal. If Norwich can get the first goal, I think we're in trouble. And it's going to be really, really hard then. Because you know what will happen. They'll try and take the sting out of the game.
Did they score first last time?
When we played,
did Johnny Rowe score last time?
No, we scored first, and then Johnny Rowe got 2, and then they were 2-1 up, and then we Wes Burns nicked an equaliser. We scored. It was 2-2.
Yeah, it is on Sky,
and we it's on ITV actually. I think it's on both channels.
Yeah, it is. It's on both.
But that was a game really we should have won last time when we played them at home. We absolutely dominated the first half, but it's like, it don't matter really how you play. When we come out of that ground at 3:00 on Sunday afternoon, if we've not put the best performance in, but we've won, everyone will be absolutely delighted. I've got to nail my colours to the mast. No good saying that, Colin. He's not scored for 5 games.
You know what's going to happen, don't you?
Just tempting fate there. But I think this time is our time to beat them. If we can't beat this Norwich team now, who are pretty poor, I think we'll never beat them. We'll never have a better chance. And I'm going to go for a comfortable-ish 2-0 victory.
2-0. Wow.
Norwich haven't lost to Ipswich in their last 14 meetings.
Yeah, okay, Jack. You don't need to rub it
winning 8. Right. Ipswich have been awarded the most penalties this season, so I think we'll see one of them in the game. Yeah.
And they've had the most games abandoned as well.
But they've also conceded the most penalties. So they both might get a penalty each in this one. 13th versus 19th, 2-point split on both. Norwich are very better on the road this season than they are at home. I think this one's got a draw written all over it. I think bloody Norwich will turn up like prime Barcelona, like they always do, Rich, when they're not playing well, and then they play you lot and they play fantastically well in a game. So I'm going 1-1.
I'm also going 1-1. I think that the problem with derbies is that they never live up to the hype, do they? I think it'll be spicy, and I do think when Núñez comes on, he's going to get sliced a couple of times by a few players. He'll be booed profoundly. Oh, too loud now. Bloody hell. Right, hang on. I know what it is. It's the gain on the mic that's...
Oliver Skip's having you up, mate. I'm telling you.
No, it is. I know it is. I've been trying to work it out. Right. How does that sound? Does that sound okay? Is that too loud?
Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I just think that this one will be one of those ones where it'll be a bit spicy in the first 10, 15 minutes, but it'll sort of peter out and it'll be a 1-1 draw.
Lovely stuff.
I would quite happily sit here next Thursday, having scored 0 points.
Yeah.
But with Ipswich having won. I'll quite happily take no points, and you lot could get 4 or 5 correct. It wouldn't bother me at all.
Next week's show won't be a championship predictions, will it? It'll be more like a championship overlook of obviously week 9. And then the week after will obviously be week 10. So we'll have to stick a championship show in between next week and go from there. But that is it for the predictions. All the best to you all in this one. I mean, I hope I don't turn up with 0 points again.
I do. I hope you do, Jack. I hope you do.
Famous last words for you, Steve. But, Rich, all the best in the derby. Enjoy it. We're going to Swansea at the weekend, so hopefully we can be better in the final third and actually have more shots on target than we have had in the last 2 games. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game for both sides this weekend, but let's see what happens. But no, boys, appreciate you coming on as always. That is it for week 9. Rich, what's coming up on the Suffolk Crunch, mate? When's the preview out for the East Derby?
Not sure. I think I'm going to watch Rovers and Bradford tonight. I think that's on Sky. Yorkshire Derby, have a look at that. Probably tomorrow. We've got no game Saturday, so I might do it Saturday. But I'm looking forward to it, Jack, at the minute. But we all know what Derby's like on that morning when you wake up.
You get that.
You get a little bit of a sicky feeling in your stomach. And you just want to... It's a game you look forward to, but then you don't... it's a little bit of a 50-50 one. You look forward to it, but then you dread it on the other hand. And when you've got such a poor record, you're probably going into it with, like I said earlier, Norwich fans are fearing the worst, and so are our lot, really, when we haven't beaten them. So someone will come out happy. They'll be happier, obviously, Jack, with a draw than we would. I think Norwich would snap your hands off now if they were offered a point, whereas us, I think it's a chance to lay down a bit of a marker, take a bit of pressure off McKenna. If he can get a result in this derby, I think it buys him some time with the fans. If he doesn't get a result here, then I think there's going to be questions asked on him and the players, because I've said on here before, boys, we've spent a lot of money. We've spent a lot of money, and sooner or later we're going to have to start performing.
200 million quid, by the way.
Yeah, we've spent a lot, so you've got to start showing why you've paid them fees for some of these players, But we'll see what happens on Sunday. We can only go in hope. He's getting into
that's Norwich.
Well.
Take them off.
There's not going to be many teams left, Jack, by the end.
No, they're all going to be
absolutely slated.
They're all going to be at his door, aren't they? All 23 sides, apart from Leicester. Where a few Leicester fans might have was upset over the previous week.
Well, I got threatened on by a 6'6" UFC built like a brick house, 5% body fat on Tuesday night, which I was like, all right, mate, yeah, come on, then show me your picture then, and he didn't. So
you shouldn't upset them in the octagon, Steve. You should know better. But Steve, we've got the match preview at 8:00, haven't we? We're going to be joined by Tom Coleman, a sports writer at the Wales Online. He's going to give us the lowdown on the Jack Army and how good they're doing this season under Alan Sheehan. So, join us back here for 8:00. Rich, thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it.
Enjoy the weekend, boys.
Well, we'll try.
May the best teams win or draw or lose.
Well, we'll see what. Well, if you can't win, don't lose. That's exactly what the phrase goes. But that could be for Ipswich at the weekend. If you can't win, don't lose. But we'll see if Richard's got a smile on his face come next week with how things go. Maybe a bit of moaning in the WhatsApp group. Steve, it won't be us this time. It'll be him. But there we go.
Maybe.
And that is it from us. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the evening, wherever you're up to. If you're watching this on playback, let us know your score predictions for the weekend's games as well. Hit a like on the video, like target. What should we put the like target as?
66.
66, right, okay. Last time England won the World Cup, so we'll stick it on that. Subscribe to both channels. Go check out Suffolk Crunch as well. And take care, everyone. See you later.